Have you ever looked around your home and felt tired without knowing exactly why? Not because of work, not because of your kids, not even because you're short on time, but simply because there's too much around you. Too many unused items. Things you once thought, I might need this someday, but that day never came. Drawers you avoid opening. Corners of the room you glance past quickly, just so you don't have to face them. We often think that clutter is just a normal part of modern life. But did you know there's a place in the world where people live in spaces that are calm, clear, and intentional, not because they're chasing perfection, but because they honor simplicity? That place is Japan. Minimalist living in Japan isn't just a trend. It's a way of life, nurtured through generations, found in modest homes, quiet meals, and the thoughtful way every item in their space has a reason to be there. But what truly impresses me isn't how tidy their homes are, or how few possessions they own, it's the depth of intention behind each choice. They don't just declutter, they transform. They don't just remove things, they release the weight from their minds. And from there, they create a living environment that is not only visually peaceful, but emotionally healing, structured, and capable of sustaining a life of quiet contentment. And the beautiful part is, you don't have to live in Japan, and you don't have to get rid of everything you own to begin this journey. All you need is a little space, a little stillness, and a small commitment each day. In this video, I'll walk with you through 4 simple yet powerful steps drawn from the Japanese philosophy of minimalism, starting with how to say no to what you don't need, and ending with a home that supports your peace of mind every single day. This journey isn't about having less. It's about living more freedom, more clarity, and more space to fully be yourself. And I truly believe you'll begin to feel that transformation from the very first step. Step 1. Dan. Refuse what you don't need. Have you ever felt like you were living in a sea of belongings, most of which you don't really need? One day you open a drawer and find items you can't even remember why you bought. And in that quiet moment, you wonder, why am I holding on to all of this? That's where the journey of Dan begins. In the Japanese philosophy of Danshari, Dan is the first step, the art of consciously saying no. It's not a rigid or harsh refusal. Rather, it's a gentle, thoughtful decision you make for yourself, to not let unnecessary things enter your life in the first place. In a world constantly bombarding us with discounts, freebies, and persuasive marketing, Dan is like a deep breath, a pause to ask yourself, do I really need this? Not because it's cheap, not because someone suggested it, but because it truly aligns with your values and needs. It's an intentional choice, choosing lightness over burden. And Dan isn't just about rejecting physical objects. It's a shift in mindset from reactive consumption to mindful living. You begin to realize you don't need everything. Having less doesn't mean you lack, it means you're free. Free from clutter, from heaviness, from the pressure to keep things just in case. When you practice Dan, you're not just creating space in your home. You're protecting your peace of mind, a space that's not overwhelmed by things that don't serve you, a mind that's not drained by endless trivial decisions. You'll be surprised how just saying no to a few unnecessary things can open up so much breathing room in your life. And the beauty of Dan goes beyond personal benefit. It reflects something deep within Japanese culture, a respect for resources, a sense of moderation, a desire to live in harmony with nature and space. The spirit of mottainai, the regret of wasting, is not just about physical waste, but a deeply human awakening. Don't waste your life on what doesn't matter. You may ask, so where do I begin? The answer isn't in a long checklist. It begins with a small shift in how you look at things. Every time you're about to make a purchase, take one gentle pause. Ask yourself, do I truly need this? Or am I trying to fill some empty space within? That one question, so simple, yet so powerful, can change how you consume, and ultimately, how you live. In this 30-day challenge, you don't need to change everything at once. Just start by refusing one small thing you used to say yes to out of habit. Maybe it's saying no to a promotional item you don't actually need. Maybe it's turning down a gift you know you'll never use. Or maybe it's gently saying no to the voice that says, keep it just in case. And when you do that, you're saying yes to peace. Yes to lightness in your space. Yes to clarity in your mind. Dan isn't just a one-time action. It's a practice, a rhythm, a quiet commitment you make to yourself, I won't let the outside world decide what enters my life anymore. I choose, and I choose simplicity, clarity, and calm. Step 2. Sha, eliminate the excess. If Dan was the first door that helped you stop unnecessary things from entering your life, then Sha is the next movement where you learn to gently say goodbye to what has stayed with you for too long. And sometimes, letting go is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. We often don't realize the weight of the old, unused items silently pressing down on both our space and our spirit. An old shirt you haven't worn in years, a broken device still tucked away in a drawer, mementos tied to an outdated version of yourself. Over time, these things become invisible threads, holding you back in the past. Sha, in the philosophy of Danshari, is not merely about throwing things away. It is an act of intention, a conscious, compassionate release. It begins with a simple question. Does this still serve me now? Not because it once had meaning, not because you once loved it, but because at this moment it is no longer needed. Sha brings you back to the present. It invites you to live fully with who you are now, rather than clinging to what you were or fearing what might be. It helps you release the guilt of discarding unused items and, in return, grants you a sense of relief, a quiet liberation. And something beautiful happens when you begin to let go. Your space transforms. No more overstuffed drawers, no more things you don't know where to put, no more tension when you clean. Instead, there is room to breathe, to live, to nourish your soul. But it's not just your home that heals. You begin to change too. The things you choose to keep now reflect a newer version of yourself, more awake, more intentional, and more attuned to what truly matters. You start to see that your worth isn't measured by how much you own. It's reflected in how you live, how you love, and how you connect with the world around you. Sha also embodies a deep cultural thread in Japanese life: simplicity, reverence for space, and the quiet art of living lightly. The Japanese do not keep things out of guilt. They keep things out of need. And when they let go, it's not out of disregard, it's because something has fulfilled its purpose. The journey of Sha doesn't have to begin with anything dramatic. Sometimes it's just opening a small drawer and releasing a few forgotten items. But don't underestimate the power of these small changes. Every time you choose to let go, you're sending a quiet message to yourself. I deserve to live with clarity, not clutter. I deserve to carry only what brings me peace. You don't need to do it all at once. During these 30 days, let the journey move slowly and gently, like a calming breath. Maybe today you let go of just one thing. Maybe tomorrow it becomes a few more. There's no rush, no pressure, just honesty, and everything will unfold as it should. And someday soon, you'll step into your space and feel like you're breathing clean, open air. Light, unburdened. No longer tethered to what no longer belongs. Sha doesn't just declutter your home. It renews your spirit, and in doing so, it reveals a version of yourself that is lighter, clearer, and quietly powerful. Step 3. Detach from material attachment. After learning to say no with Dan and gently letting go with Sha, your journey now enters a deeper space, the space of emotion, of unseen bonds between ourselves and the material things we hold on to. This is where quietly arrives, like a soft invitation to return to your inner freedom. In the philosophy of Danshari, means to detach, to release. But not in the way we often imagine, where letting go is purely physical. Speaks to something more tender, the invisible threads of emotion we've unconsciously tied to our belongings. It's the guilt over something expensive we never used, the sentimentality of a gift we no longer need, the attachment to an old version of ourselves we haven't yet outgrown. Have you ever looked at an item you never use, yet still can't bring yourself to throw away? Have you kept something just because you feared hurting someone's feelings if you let it go? These may seem small, but they are echoes of emotional dependency. And isn't here to force you to cut those ties. It's here to help you see them clearly, understand them, and then gently release. Is the art of detaching with mindfulness. It reminds us that nothing in this life is permanent, that possessions are transient, and our true value isn't found in what we own, but in who we are becoming. And once you truly grasp that, life begins to feel lighter, freer, and inwardly richer. Practicing doesn't mean you must suddenly give away everything. It means pausing, noticing how you feel, and being honest with yourself. When you feel a strong emotional pull to keep something, ask, why is this so hard to let go? Is it the money you spent? A memory you're afraid to lose? A fear of forgetting who you once were? Simply listening to those answers with gentleness, that's where the practice begins. Re doesn't teach coldness toward the things we own. Quite the opposite, it teaches gratitude. Gratitude for what an item once gave you. Gratitude for the chapter of your life it represents. And then, with a soft smile, you thank it and let it go. Like a friend who once walked with you and has now fulfilled their role. When you start detaching from material dependency, something beautiful happens. You create more space not only in your home, but in your mind. You stop holding on to things that no longer align with who you are. You stop feeling guilty for choosing peace over clutter. And you begin to recognize yourself clearer, lighter, and more in tune with your truth. Japanese culture, deeply influenced by Buddhist and Hindu thought, often centers around the impermanence of all things. To live without attachment doesn't mean rejecting life's beauty. It means living with awareness, knowing what serves you and what simply holds you back. When you choose simplicity on the outside, you make room for richness on the inside, a wealth that no one can take from you. Over these 30 days, don't rush the process. Let Re unfold slowly, like a gentle breeze. Each day, pauses and look at one item with honest eyes. Ask a question, listen quietly for the answer. And when the moment feels right, let go with gratitude. Re is not the end of the journey. It is a threshold opening the door to a new way of living, one that is no longer tethered to things, no longer weighed down by the past. Instead, it is grounded in clarity, in freedom, and in quiet compassion for the self. Step 4. Seiton, organize, and sustain long-term order. After learning to refuse with Dan, to let go with Sha, and to detach with Re, the journey now leads to Seiton, the bridge that turns transformation into continuity. Because true change isn't just about what we remove, but what we choose to maintain. And Seiton is how we make that peace last. In Japanese, Seiton means putting things in order, but it goes far beyond simply tidying up or sorting belongings. Seiton is the quiet art of designing a harmonious system for your living space, where every object has a rightful place, where simplicity becomes the foundation of efficiency, and where organization doesn't feel forced, but flows naturally from clarity. Seiton doesn't ask, "Should you keep this?" It asks something deeper. Where does this item belong to serve you best? It moves you from decision to action, from intention to sustainable structure. It invites you to not only clear the clutter, but to build a rhythm, one that brings order gently, day by day. In a world where we constantly search for keys, for chargers, for documents, Seiton offers a simple but profound gift: clarity. The clarity to stop wasting energy on small frustrations. The clarity to give your time to what truly matters, meaningful conversations, quiet moments, and the life you're intentionally shaping. The magic of Seiton lies in its consistency. It isn't about occasional spurts of tidying that fade with time. It's about a living rhythm where each item returns to its home, each routine strengthens a little order, and your space quietly supports your day without chaos or overwhelm. In traditional Japanese homes, you can feel the spirit of Seiton in every corner, spaces that are calm, purposeful, and uncluttered, yet never empty. Each object isn't just functional, it belongs. And this belonging creates a deep sense of peace because everything is in its rightful place. And so are you. When you practice Seiton, you're doing more than organizing your space. You're nurturing a mental environment for clarity, focus, and self-respect. Because a person who creates order around them is often building order within. Seiton doesn't require you to be perfect. It simply invites you into gentle consistency. Perhaps it's the small act of putting things back after use. Perhaps it's a quiet 10-minute reset every weekend. Or a seasonal check-in every few months, where you realign your space with your current needs, not out of pressure, but out of care. It's what the Japanese do not just in their homes, but in how they live. Not waiting for chaos to fix things, but weaving maintenance into daily life as naturally as breathing. And soon, you'll feel the most beautiful effect. Not only is your home tidy, but your mind feels lighter. You wake up to a space that's calm. You work with focus. And you end the day with gratitude because the peace you feel was created by your own hands, your own awareness, your own quiet commitment. Seiton isn't just the final step. It's the key that holds everything together. The steady breath that sustains your minimalist life. Not in extremes, not with effort, but in small, loving moments where you build a home and a life that is clear, grounded, and quietly, deeply peaceful. Now, tell me, which step in today's Japanese minimalism journey are you most inspired to start with? Is it Dan, learning to say no to protect your living space? Or Sha, letting go of items that no longer reflect who you are today? Maybe it's Ri, where you gently release emotional attachments and feel the lightness that follows. Or Seiton, where everything finds its place and you begin living with clarity and ease? Leave a comment below saying, I choose to live more lightly every day, if you feel it's time to not just declutter your home, but realign your life. And I'd love to know, which of the 4 steps resonated with you the most? What part of the philosophy made you pause and reflect? If this video was meaningful to you, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Here, we explore how to live more simply, more mindfully, and more in tune with the life you truly want to create. If you'd like to continue this journey with me, turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. And if you know someone who's feeling overwhelmed, not just by clutter on the outside, but by heaviness within, share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need right now. Because peace doesn't come from decluttering everything all at once. It comes from choosing to live with intention little by little, day by day. So, the real question is, will you keep living among drawers full of things? Or will you start creating space for a lighter, more intentional life starting today? I'll see you in the next video. There's still so much more for us to discover together.